Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I see a lot of gentlemen, no ladies around. Ah, yes, there is one. To the Hydrogen Fuel Cell and Batteries exhibition here at the Hannover Fair. We will talk about Celerity at the new fuel cell system of heavy-duty applications. And this is a theme where I can invite you to a coffee or a free drink if you like to just sit down and enjoy. There are some young girls running around and taking your order. To talk about Celerity, the new fuel cell system for heavy-duty application, there is Mr. Martin Tröger from Hydrogenics, the Business Development Manager of Europe, here to talk about it. If I have a short applause for him, please. Mr. Tröger, welcome on stage.
Welcome for having me.
Take a seat, please. Well, Celerity, that sounds very fast. So it is a long history of development of products, I could bet. And Celerity means you made a lot of experience in this theme. And it's a kind of fuel cell that you made, or what is the development history of it?
It's a plug-in fuel cell system, and historically, like everybody, Hydrogenics also started with stacks, and discovering very soon that people would rather break them than being able to integrate them and give them a long life. So step by step over the past decade, we integrated all balance of plant components with the stack, so that nowadays the systems are ready to run. You can principally operate them on your table with a laptop just. So
that sounds very easy to go.
It's very easy.
It means you have a long history in developing in a lot of different steps to have all included. How can you compare it if you see it back?
Well, today it's the Celerity is the top of the cake.
Yeah.
It's a fully integrated system, and it behaves like an engine that is ready to be married to a car.
Uh-huh.
So everything is inside, and the customer interface is just a communication port.
So by a car, you got the gear, for example, and the engine running, and you got a marriage, and you put it in. And so this is the same system like you have. You can exchange the car.
You could compare it like that, yes.
Ah, okay, good. So it's, how you said, ready-to-go engine.
Yes.
So what is the fuel cell thing then about it?
Well, a fuel cell is a piece of material that, has no intelligence. And the people handling it, they have to be intelligent in order to give it a purpose and, let's say, a long lifetime.
Yeah.
And this is what we integrated all in that black box over there on our booth. You're welcome to take a look at it.
There at the Hydrogenic booth, directly here behind the stage.
So the only component out of that box which is external is the water pump. Everything else is integrated in that box. So it includes the stacks, the balance of plant, the air supply, and everything like that, and the master controller, of course. And the customer interface, as said, is the communication port.
So if you learn the communication, you have an engine for your bus, for example, or truck. Yeah.
So it's purpose designed for heavy-duty mobility. It has a very high voltage on board, so that customers most probably won't need DC to DC conversion to come to the battery voltage level of the vehicle. And there is one version that we've made together with Siemens for the Alpha Drive program, so that Celerity in this case behaves like an Siemens Alpha component. So it makes it very easy to integrate into any heavy-duty vehicle like buses or trucks or anything like that.
So it has a function like a modal, a driving modal, which you can change instead of other components which are producing also power.
Similar to that, yes.
Yeah. And what kind of regions you can put your engine inside? What kind of range does it got in power, for example?
Well, Hydrogenics always gives values that are net power end of life. So Celerity as a building block has 60 kilowatt net, end of life 15,000 hours. So we're not talking about stacks, and we're always talking about the system, because that is the power that the customer can use on his vehicle. So it doesn't help him if we say it's 100 kilowatt, but then you have parasitic consumers and we don't know which one you'll be using, and so we don't know where you end up in terms of kilowatts. So
so it depends on the user or the company what kind of demand they have.
Yes.
So you can customize it.
If the customer, if the customer uses a stack and builds all the balance of plant in himself,
Yeah.
at the beginning he doesn't exactly know what the consumption of the parasitic consumers is. So with this module, you know, right? So because you go directly on the bus level on the actor of the alpha drive system, for example, and you're done.
Yeah, yeah. So what kind of customers do you aiming on? Which kind of partner do you like to have in this region?
Well, it's all kinds of heavy-duty vehicles on the first, but it was designed for buses and trucks.
So buses and truck. Just a simple question: when is your product ready-made for serial production?
It is ready.
Yeah.
As the backside of my business card, there are two words: we're ready.
Okay.
So all the products that we have are serial products, but Celerity is very new. It's just released on the APTA show just recently in the US, and so this is the first display in Germany or Europe.
Yeah.
So it's a very new product, but it's tailored and made for serial production and not for project tests and stuff like that. So
you're not going to have a partner with one or two buses or a truck. You can go ahead for complete fleets.
Yes, that's the purpose of this module, because if everything is integrated, it's also easy to swap. It's easy to replace, easy to maintain, easy accessible.
Yeah.
And that's why it's good and made for serial production of vehicles. It's technically it's no problem to kind of figure out how a stack can be fit into any vehicle.
Yeah.
That's no problem. Everybody can do that. The approach now is how can we ramp up a market, and for that you need a automotive designed system, and that is Celerity about.
So one of your partners, as you told right now, is Siemens in this direction. Do they push it in the same way you think?
We developed it together with Siemens, just that everything is pre-configured and the customer has no work to do in order to bring both systems together. And so I hope Siemens is also promoting it. But in the first place, it's our product, it's not their product, right? So, but it's tailored and made to work together with the Alpha Drive system from Siemens. And on the other hand, of course, we have the standard version of Celerity, where the customer side would be that they have to level the dialect of the protocol, right? So it's not much work, but you have to know which signal comes from where, and it's CAN bus signal, so it's easy.
So this sounds for me too like your system sounds very safe in this direction. Means less problems, no kind of new high-tech energy falling off the work all the time.
Yeah, it's about less surprises, right?
Yeah.
There are, as everybody knows, positive and negative surprises, and you save a lot of negative surprises. You won't make them, as everything is about safety, about reliability. That's a lifetime. Is very important.
Yeah.
And so the system won't permit to draw more than 60 kilowatts, for example.
That means also if it's a reliable system, I need to have a running engine all the time. When I have a bus, it's got to be on the road.
Yeah.
With a truck too.
Yeah.
So how reliable is a kind of system if you compare it with other driving systems?
Well, the information that I'm mentioning right now is not from me, but it comes from stationary power applications where backup power, when you look at backup power, if you look at, normally you have battery systems and a diesel generator, and one of 1,000 starts or 100 starts doesn't work with the diesel generator. So we're statistically, the fuel cell system is much more reliable than that. So compared to a diesel engine, it has much less maintenance. It's only a few filters, and the cooling liquid has to be changed from time to time. But it's very foreseeable.
So what kind of components are then in your engine which you can say that this makes a reliable product?
What components?
Yeah, so the different parts, how do they work together to deliver this kind of stability?
Well, the idea is to have a fuel cell system that includes all the balance of plant, as I said initially, and that means that our air supply is supplied by Hydrogenics, it's in the box. The control is by Hydrogenics, it's in the box. All the sensors, the recirculation of the hydrogen is in the box. These systems have dry-dry technology. That means they don't need any humidification, and that's a component you can drop, right? We don't need humidification anymore. The systems don't have to be plugged in overnight if there is the danger of freezing, because they automatically freeze protect them by themselves.
Very fine. So I hear exactly there's a lot of what you can talk about it, right?
Yeah.
We're in a very mood position right now, because I know you got a complete service packages about or behind your system. That means you can give your customer more or less a lot of security too.
Yes, one thing is the component, the system, as you see it over there. The other is if you want to access to an industry, you have to provide the same service as they're used with their technology they know already. And that has to be a full maintenance and service contract, for example. You have to be nearby, you have to provide service engineers, not only telephone and email, and then see how it figures. The other important thing is that these systems are designed to have not much maintenance in principle.
Not much maintenance means in this consumption, what kind of maintenance do you need to have?
Well, what we need to have is filter checks and replacement of cooling liquid, but that's pretty much it.
And that's it?
That's it.
So it sounds like in the service you can do a lot and take out the customer care into your care.
Yes.
And if you get to a customer, for example, who's got 30 buses running with your system, there's no standing time for the buses, or close to no standing.
It's minimized because behind the service and the maintenance, there's also a strategy. You might have systems on site at the customer's site, so that if there is any issue, that you don't have to stick your head into the vehicle. Doesn't make sense. So pull out the whole cartridge and put a new cartridge in, and then check the cartridge you just took out. That's far easier. You can connect it to a test stand, and what we also do is active remote diagnosis. That means that works over cell phone network if you want. So we know before the customer knows.
So you can call the customer and say, we expect the problem with engine number 74.
We when the customer calls us and says, I think I have an issue, we say, yes, we know. And there is someone on his way to fix it.
So you got a also running service system all over Europe, in the USA, I think too.
Yes, we are a German GmbH, so we're located in the Ruhr area near Cologne. So we have 4 airports and a very dense network of highways nearby. What I want to say is around Europe, we're very quick in being on any place, very quickly. The same in North America, but that's not my business. I'm business development Europe, so.
If you look in the future, what kind of scenery you can paint in a successful way? What do you think? How can you develop? In which direction do you like to have a development for your company?
Well, talking about Celerity, it's a serial product that is designed, of course, for a serial production of buses or trucks. So what we're looking at is to raise a market together with industrial OEMs, bus OEMs and truck OEMs. to raise and increase the interest in electric vehicles free of emissions. But still, it is very often a very political subject, so it's not only market-driven.
Looking at the political way, do you force something in the political way? Do you speak to politicians, and of what kind of decisions do you wreck most?
Well, being in this business for quite a while, you learn that you have to be active on all levels. I couldn't specify one specific, area where I would focus on. One is the OEM that we have to work on so that he feels comfortable and safe. And the other is the end customers, the public transit companies. They very often have their own maintenance team and they do everything by themselves, which means they're also interested, if they purchase fuel cell buses, to do that sooner or later by themselves. But for that, the system, again, has to be simple and easy to handle.
And this kind of simple and easy handling is that you got a complete service system on the one hand, you got a complete engine on the other hand. Is this the core of your work, so to say?
This is the core of our work, yes. So it's the homework that we have to do and that we have done in order to access markets. That's the learning. The easier it is, the easier it is to seduce a customer to say, okay, I'm going with you. I understand what you mean, and I feel comfortable and safe with it.
I also found some information about award-winning engine. So, what did you do to win an award?
Which award?
About a million award.
Where was that?
It was just at the beginning of the year that that you put in an award. I think it was in the U.S.
That was in the U.S.
Yeah, right.
It's sad my colleague Rob Delcor is not here, so he could. Yeah. He was involved into that.
Does it have an influence to your work too?
Well, it is. You could ask if that has an influence to my life. It's winning a gold medal, right?
Yes.
It influences your life in a way, and hopefully in a positive way. I think it's too early to make statements about that. How it influences the European market.
Yeah.
Also, we have promoted Celerity since its release, but the market has to, get grip on it and see how to proceed with it.
Yeah, so the kind of reaction is also maybe you care about European awards too. Is there something where you're interested in?
If we win an award, it's nice, but we're not aiming for that because our aim is to sell the modules and the systems and to make customers happy. I don't know if they're really happier if we carry a gold medal or something like that.
Yeah, well, some say yes, some say no. Several.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's helpful if you have it, but it's not that. It's one of our focuses.
It's only a sign that you did something. It is a sign.
You can indicate it. You can hold the banner up. That's true.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, it's okay. Also, I mean, then you're the second winner, right?
Yeah. So you got your engine at the booth. You can explain there directly at your machine to show exactly what kind of parts are included. I saw there some windows.
Yes.
You even don't have to open up and touch it inside. You can show it from outside. You got all the informations there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and the specialists, as I saw, not only you.
We're more than one. Yes.
My last question is. Should we invite the audience, parts of them who like to get more information to your booth?
Sure. Everybody who wants to see it, we have also a PEM electrolyzer stack on our booth, which is a 1.5 megawatt stack, and you'll be astonished how small it is.
Yeah.
So we have electrolysis and we have the PEM fuel cell, and you're invited to come and see what we have.
That's a fine conclusion of the speech. thank you very much,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Tröger.
Thank you for having
so
me.
you can see Mr. Tröger at the booth directly behind the counter here, Hydrogenics. If you like to give a short applause for Mr. Tröger from Hydrogenics.
Thank you.
At the next, in 20 minutes, we'll start the residential fuel cell as theme from Mr. Daudensteiner of the Initiative Brennstoffzelle from the IBZ in Germany. Thank you very much.